Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how I created this matte layer that you can see here for my card, and how I created a mask at the same time that was the perfect fit to go over this layer, that protected the dashed circle line and enabled me to use my Stampin' Up photopolymer stamps to create this circular stamp design that you can see here. So initially the matting layer and the mask were all created in ScanNCut canvas, which I'm going to show you how to do. Then I'm going to cut out the two layers again and show you how I stamped the design to make this card, and then at the end I'll show you a close-up of the finished card again. So I'm going to get rid of that. Now, just before I do, I'm not sure if you can see it in the video, but at the back here is my base card, and that was an A4 piece of card cut directly through the middle on the long side, which gave me two pieces that were about 4 1/8 by the length, which is around about 11 3/4, I think, something like that. And then I folded one piece in half and it becomes a top folding card, which you can see here. If you're anywhere else other than the UK, you might use 8.5 by 11, so you might have to adjust the size of this box that I'm going to create in canvas. So I'll get rid of that. So to make my rectangle, first of all, I wanted the matte layer to be about 1/8 or so of an inch smaller than the base card. So I came into the basic shapes, I chose a rectangle, I'm holding my shift key down to rotate it. I'm going to come up here to the properties, I'm going to untick the maintain aspect ratio because I want to alter the width and the height independently. I'm going to make the width 4 inches and the height for mine, I want it to be 5.62, and hit return, and that should fit on the base card of my card, giving me about 1/8 of an inch border all the way round. So that's the first thing. While this is selected, I'm going to go to the properties and I'm going to assign it a cut line only with a solid cut line. Then I'm going to select a circle, and with the properties box still open, this time I'm going to tick maintain aspect ratio because I want to make this circle exactly 3 inches. So you can choose either the width or the height, it doesn't matter. You can overtype and put 3, or you can use the down arrows and just take it down to 3 inches. While this circle's still selected, this is going to create my dashed pattern line on this layer. So I'm going to come here, select draw, click on the down arrow, and I'm going to choose those dashed lines and then close that box. And then I'm going to position this circle over this rectangle. I don't want it in the middle, I want it somewhere near the top, because I want to be able to wrap that baker's twine around here and possibly put some kind of a greeting on at some point in the future. So that's roughly where I want it. I'm going to select both, come to edit, align, center, and that just puts the circle centrally between this rectangle. While they're both selected, I'm going to select group. I'm going to right click while it's selected and hit duplicate. Now I'm just going to move that one out of the way because that's the first matte layer. This one is going to be our mask. So I'm going to select it, right click and hit ungroup. This time I want the circle only, but I don't want to move anything because this mask fits perfectly over this matting layer to be able to do the stamping. So with the circle only selected, I'm going to come to the offset box I'm going to choose inward and 16. We'll try and see, and we'll say OK. And that actually looks OK. So what I want now, that needs to be a cut line. So I'm just going to go back to the properties box, make it a cut line only, click on the downward arrow and choose the solid line and close that down. Now I'm going to try and zoom in. This was the rectangle and this outer circle was our original circle, and we've made an inward of it, and it's the original circle we want to get rid of. So I'm going to click on it, or try and click on it to select it. And I've got it there, and I know it's that one that's selected because the bounding box is running around that outside. If I got the middle one, you can see that the bounding box is running around the middle one, but it's this outside one we want. While that outside circle's selected, I'm just going to hit delete on my keyboard, or I use a Mac, so it's the back arrow. Now I'm just going to zoom back out a little bit. So go back to the properties and just double check what we've got. So we've got this is a cut line and this is a cut line. It doesn't really matter at the moment that this is cut or draw, because we're going to make this one shape. So I'm going to select both and I'm going to come to subtract. Now the circle needs to be on top. If you watched my video last week showing how to make the scrapbook layers, it's basically the same function we use in subtract. So this circle has to be on top of this rectangle. You can either right click and choose bring to front, or you can fill them with colour and make sure that the whatever you choose for your circle is clearly visible on top, so that you know you've got the circle on top of the rectangle. There's many ways to do it. I'm hoping mine's on top now, so I'm going to select both and hit subtract, and that basically has punched that hole out of that shape. If I fill that in now with black, we should have a white hole in the middle. Okay, so just for the purposes of this video, I'm going to choose a pale grey. So we've got this one, the outside is a cut line and the circle is a draw. This is all cut, and if we put that on top of there and go to edit, align, centre and edit, align, middle, they both line up and you can't see the dash line underneath, which means that this hole in the middle of this grey layer is smaller than that hole. And this will become the mask, and this becomes the matte layer for the top of your card, which will have all the stamped image in the middle and then that drawn line around the outside. So you need to give it a name up here now and click save. I'm not going to save it because I've already got one saved. And then you would hit the download button, put that onto a USB stick, and then obviously you would go and load your mat up and you would cut this and draw this and cut this. And in the next part of the video, I'm going to cut these two pieces and show you how I created the stamped card. Okay, to save a bit of time, I've cut and drawn my two layers. So this is the layer that was the plain rectangle with the drawn circle, and this is the layer that was the same size rectangle with the circle cut out of it. And this is actually the one I used first time round. I'm just going to use the other side for now. So because these were cut at the same size, they layer up completely over the top of each other. And the way I did mine was I took a little bit of tape and I just taped it in position just to keep it in place. I'm using the Stampin' Up! Flower Patch stamp set today, and I've got all my inks and stamps ready, and I'm just going to quickly try and recreate this original card and show you how I made it. So I've got an A4 piece of card that I've cut in half through the long side, scored and folded, and that's going to be my base card. Got my first stamp, just going to ink it up and then I'm just going to stamp randomly. And this is where, if you watch previous videos, you know I get into a bit of a mess. And I've not stamped that one particularly well, so I'm just going to go over it again and hopefully get it in the right place. Then I'm going to take a different rubber stamp and using a lighter ink, I'm going to fill in I'm going to do a bit of stamping off, so I'm going to stamp once onto my scrap and then onto the paper. That's very pale. In fact, I won't stamp off, I'll just do a bit more of the pale ink. And I'm just going to take that one off there because I forgot to get one of this little one now. I'm going to use Blackberry Bliss. Try not to get it all over. It doesn't matter if you go over. I'm going to use my little leaf now and stamp this up in green. And then some filling in. So again, need another rubber stamp. Take this one off here. I used a darker colour, again, Blackberry Bliss. Make sure I've got it all inked up. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just going to see if I can go over that one again because I've not quite got it. And then I'll move the ink out of the way because you know I'll stick my finger in it. And then if you lift up your mask, this is how it's starting to look. So the next thing I did, I took a black Memento Tuxedo black ink pad. I got the words from the Flower Patch set. And just stamped across. Got ink all over my hands as usual. And then when you peel away your mask, that's what you're left with. So I'm just going to use some basic pearls. And apply little pearls to where the centre of the flowers would be if they were complete flowers. Then I took some of the thick baker's twine and just wrap this around the card a couple of times. Tied a bow. We'll try a knot first and then see if I can get a bow. I'm trying not to get ink all over the card. Just going to manoeuvre that around. Open those up, so that's how we're looking now. Then it just needs some 3D foam pads and we're nearly done. Bring my card back in, layer this up on top. I need to do this so it's up in the air. I'll show you in a minute. And there's the card. So from creating a layer and a mask, I was able to then create the stamped effect and protect the stitched draw line that I did in ScanNCut canvas. I'm going to put an insert inside it and I'll probably stamp the insert as well, but you've seen me do that before so I don't need to do that just at the minute. So I hope you found that helpful. Please like, share and subscribe. If you need any of the products that you've seen me use, I am able to sell all these products to anybody that lives in the UK, France, Germany, Austria and the Netherlands, and they're all available on my Stampin' Up shop, which is online, and the link is at the beginning of this video and will be in the description box below. If you can't see the full information in the description box, click on the box that says show more and it will expand and all the details will be there. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.